Always bet on the boxer in the rematch. That's what we're going to do here. I think Bivol's going to win this fight.
I gotta say, guys, I told you so. Dmitry Bivol, he's the new king. He is the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. And if it sounds excited, I'm not excited because Artur Beterbiev lost. I am excited because we had a fantastic, perfect fight. I mean, you could not have asked anything more from an undisputed title fight. Yes, now we have a new king in Dmitry Bivol. He defeated Artur Beterbiev via decision on one of the best cards I've ever seen for boxing, boys. I mean, one of the absolute best cards ever. Nothing you can say. It was a fantastic card through and through. But we're here to talk about Bivol and Beterbiev, and we'll also get into a little bit of, Joseph Parker getting the dub, Shakur Stevenson finally getting a knockout. There's Agit, or whatever you say his name, Bacoli coming in short. Now, this is Virgil Ortiz. This card was so stacked. Oh, man, this is what boxing needs, baby. Big cards like this. Big card. Not everybody's an ace side. Undisputed light heavyweight title shot, that's your ace side. I talked about this in our preview video for this, and I haven't been doing many of these for boxing because we don't have the big fights, and it's like, do you really want to hear me talk about, these fights that are like gimmies for these great boxers? Like, no, I'm going to do these previews for the big fights, like the Terrence Crawford-Canelo Alvarez fight coming up, or Naoya Inoue versus Junto Nakatani, who will be recapping tomorrow. Dmitry Bivol, this fight was deserving of the preview. And in the preview, I said, man, if you watch in the first fight, Dmitry Bivol's best success was when he was throwing punches and bunches. Artur Beterbiev did not answer back. He liked to catch Dmitry Bivol on the exchange, on the exit. And Dmitry Bivol came out doing just that. There was a scare in the middle of the round, sure, where he wasn't throwing the right hand, he was jabbing. I don't think he was hurt, like the announcers were saying. Instead, I think he was letting Beterbiev punch himself out. Now, this is just me thinking, like, hey, why would he have done that only to come out with the right hand just as vicious, if not more vicious, in the second half of the fight, right? You think about that, and you're like, maybe not, maybe he wasn't injured. But you think about it, and it's like, man, he stayed in the pocket. He pressured Beterbiev. Had Beterbiev on the back foot a lot of this fight. I won't say all fight because there was those rounds where Beterbiev was coming forward, especially the 11th and 12th round. Beterbiev came forward, but he was really happy to throw punches and bunches. He was really happy to, exit and use his footwork. He changed game plans several times in this fight, too, if you think about it. He went from it was actually really brilliant and showed just how smart of a boxer Dmitry Bivol is. He started out the first few rounds, hey, here's 3, 4, 5 punch combinations. And then he's like, oh no, I'm on the back foot. What am I going to do? I can't throw my right hand. Like, jab, 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 jab. And then the next round, he's moving agile, left, right, boom, boom. He comes over the top. And then that last quarter of the fight, he's like, all right, back to punches and bunches. He kept Beterbiev guessing how he was going to fight. And once it seemed like Artur Beterbiev was, oh, okay, so we're moving a lot now. I'm going to herd you out with the jab so I can land my right hand as you exit, kind of like Alexander Usyk does against Tyson Fury, right? Dmitry was, okay, we're going to switch it up now. Look, I'm back in the pocket with you banging it out. Nobody's going to bang out with you, bro, so you probably don't have reps there, right? It's crazy. The amount of game planning that had to go into this was incredible. And what Beterbiev showed us is the fact that he's still a great boxer. Just because you lose to Dmitry Bivol, like, there's no shame in losing to Dmitry Bivol. Just like there's no shame in Dmitry Bivol losing to Artur Beterbiev. And there's no shame in Canelo losing to Dmitry Bivol. Now, you degenerates, y'all knew it was coming. Okay, y'all knew it was coming. Oh yeah, this book by Teddy Atlas, a memoir, it's a really good read. Not a long read, very short. Pick this one up, the link's in the description. But Atlas talks about, having to fight being scared. And when you're fighting Artur Beterbiev, it is scary. I mean, he could put anybody on the planet's lights out, Usyk included. Not saying he will. I mean, we've had amateur fights where they tried and stuff. You know, he's knocked Usyk down yet. We're not going to go into it. But anyways, in his book, Teddy Atlas says this, talking about fear. He said, fear is the greatest obstacle to learning in any area, but particularly boxing. If you can harness fear and make it your ally, it can be your ally. He's outlining like the crucial mental shift needed to transform fear into his strength. And when you're fighting a boxer as fearsome as Artur Beterbiev, like that first fight, there had to be that sort of I don't want to say fear, because Bill isn't scared of Artur Beterbiev. We know that. But there was that respect there, like, oh, he could knock me out at any point. But this fight, you could tell, he's like, I've already gone 12 rounds with this guy. And they always say, you know, in the rematch, bet on the boxer. And that's what we're going to have to do. Over to the web. Let's look at old Ring Magazine, huh? Beterbiev is going to be number 1. They might run it back to number 3, but I do want to see Bivol versus David Benavidez next. I don't think David Benavidez is going to have anything for Dmitry Bivol, guys, at all. Like, David Benavidez is kind of like, he traded some of Artur Beterbiev's power for a little bit more of the volume, and like that's the type of fight that's going to, he doesn't, like, Dmitry Bivol does not have to change his game plan that much off of that, right? He's the king, baby, and that's all there is to it. David Benavidez ain't got nothing for it. You could do Callum Smith. That'd be okay, I guess. Anthony Yard, no. Boasi, like, just lost. Or no, he barely won, I think. No. Joshua Boasi lost, didn't he? On this card? Yeah, he lost to Callum Smith. That's right. I'm losing my mind here, guys. But yeah, so if we're not running it back, we're going to do David Benavidez, you know. That's the fight to make, though. I'd really much prefer to see that than a third fight. Maybe do a third fight after that. But let's get David Benavidez out here. Let's stop him from crying. Now, can Artur Beterbiev bounce back? He's 40 years old. He's an old man. 170, like 40 years old is ancient. And it's incredible he's fought to the level he fought at. Especially when you consider the fact that Dmitry Bivol's that good. Yeah, he's a great boxer. But when I'm thinking of like Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev 3, because there's got to be a third. You got to break the tie, right? When I think of that, I'm like, Bivol's got him figured out, it seems like, man. Like, I don't know if anybody else can pull off the game plan like Bivol can. But, man, if he could bounce back and get another win, that would be incredible. Because, like, let's go back over to the web real quick here. Let's go over to Ring. Let's look at their pound-for-pound ratings, because I want to see if they've updated it. Let's see. Rankings, pound-for-pound. Usyk number 1, Inoue, Crawford. Beterbiev, yeah, they haven't updated yet. These two Beterbiev and Bivol will certainly swap places. I don't see Bivol jumping Terrence Crawford undisputed in 2 weight classes. Like, that's not happening. He definitely not Inoue. And Usyk is obviously the king. But, yeah, to bounce back and defeat Dmitry Bivol like that would be incredible. I'd like to see him go up, though, to heavyweight or cruiserweight even, and fight Usyk one more time. Like, one big last hurrah for both of them. I know Usyk said he wants 2 fights left, and he talked about fighting Alex Pereira from the UFC. I'm like, don't want that, because imagine if Pereira knocked him out. That would be the most absurd thing ever. Oh my gosh. Please. I know the Usyk's not going to get knocked out. He can go 12 rounds with Pereira and avoid it. If Artem Vakitov can do it, so can Usyk. But regardless, you know, he could bounce back. Beterbiev, he's got such power, and power's always the last thing to go. I don't know if he will. You know, just for the simple fact that it's like, when you are this old, you know, what do you have to fight for? You've been undisputed. That's never going to go away, right? That's never going to go away, being undisputed like that. So what is there for you to fight for? And he has to find what he wants to fight for. If it's just to get back to Dmitry Bivol, sure, you know, that last drive can really push you far, but he's only getting older. I don't know if he can bounce back. I'm leaning no, guys. I really am, because, like, oh, and I like Artur Beterbiev. These two guys, like, both of them are respectful. They're both very good fighters. They're fun to watch. Oh, rewind that. I'm not recency bias here. Dmitry Bivol's usually not fun to watch. He's usually pretty boring. Although he has been fun in these last two fights. So we'll give him credit where credit's due. In the last 6 months, he's been fun to watch. So can Beterbiev bounce back? Yeah. Will he beat Bivol in the rematch? Probably not. You know, Father Time's undefeated, and at 40 years old, you might as well be dead in boxing. Might as well be dead, because that's where you are. This card was loaded, though, guys. Joseph Parker. Is he a Hall of Famer? He knocked out Martin Bakole, at heavyweight in round 2. Now, granted, Bakole was, you know, coming in there, and he was trying to do something that he shouldn't have by fighting short notice, super heavy. But he knocked out Jared Anderson in the fight before, so he's a dangerous fighter. And it's somebody as small as Joseph Parker. Let's go over here and take a peek real quick, because how big is Joseph Parker on the weigh-in for this? Where is it? I hate how they did it. 267. So he was a bigger fella, but he wasn't fat, right? But, like, man, what a knockout. Round 2. And he catches him with a right hand, but on Bakole's opposite temple. You usually think your right hand's coming in, that's going to come this side. But no, it glanced off his temple, opposite way, and Bakole's equilibrium just, boom, dropped him, right? It's crazy. You're like, how did that happen? But let's go take a look real quick at Joseph Parker's record over here. Because the question is he a Hall of Famer? 36-3 record. Okay, so those 3 losses are key. One of them's bad. But, like, take a look at this. Martin Bakole, Zhilei Zhang, Deontay Wilder. That's a good 3-run fight right there, right? He's got the loss to Joe Joyce. Really kind of an embarrassing loss. But he's also beat Chisora twice. Junior Fa, you know, got the loss to Dillian White. Okay. Anthony Joshua, he could have beat Joshua on that night. I couldn't constantly believe it. We don't care about Hughie Fury. But this one right here, Andy Ruiz. That's a win that aged very well. I need to go back and watch that. Carlos Takam, okay. And then a bunch of, you know, garbage fights after that. But, like, you look at who he's beat. You know, the Andy Ruiz, Hughie Fury, no. Joshua, Dillian White, no. Had to come bounce back. Beat Chisora again. Sad loss to Joe Joyce. But then he comes back and beats Deontay Wilder, Zhang, and Martin Bakole. Like, you look at those wins, and it's like, man, he's not... he's borderline. He's been champion before, sure, and he's been around for forever. But he's lacking that one big win. And it can't be Tyson Fury because they train together. And it can't be Usyk, or it can, but I doubt they'll fight. Daniel Dubois, like, will he fight Daniel Dubois? That'd be interesting. But does he beat Dubois? Like, I don't think he does. But he's got to go out there and try, right? Now Usyk's talking about, oh no, I want Dubois next. That's for me. I don't want to have to fight Joseph Parker. I like Joseph Parker. I am a bit biased. I thought he beat Anthony Joshua, and I've always rooted for him ever since then. The ref did no favors. Anthony Joshua was clinching all the time and let him clinch excessively in that fight when I thought Parker could beat a Joshua who I didn't think was quite up to snuff. So I'm going to say no, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he should be. If that makes sense, right? Does that even make sense? Like, he should be a Hall of I want him to be a Hall of Famer, but I don't know if he will be. Regardless, I enjoy Joseph Parker, and every time he fights, you should watch him and enjoy him too. Shakur Stevenson finally got him a win over an electrician on 4 days' notice, is what everybody's calling him. Oh, he's so frustrated. I tweeted out and I said, if Shakur doesn't finish this guy, I'm done defending him. Because you guys know, I defend Shakur Stevenson all the time. I'm done. I can't defend him anymore. What? Blake's done defending Shakur? What? He's a beautiful boxer. But he had to knock the guy out with body shots. Couldn't hit him and hurt him in the head. Body shots. Now, body shots aren't cheap, and we do love a good body shot knockout. Axe Ajit. Or Axe Shang, actually. He's the one that got knocked out. But, oh man, he's so good. He's so talented. I think he beats Gervonta Davis, but the way he fights, he will never fight Gervonta. They'll never book the fight. You know why? Because he's freaking boring. It sucks. But I gotta say, like, he finally got him a knockout win. He finally got him a knockout win. And it's been a while, too. Where's he at? He was so far, like, buried, number 3 on the undercard. But, like, he decision a Hartunian, Edwin De Los Santos, Yoshino, Robson Conceição. Y'all remember that? He decision Valdez. His last knockout was 2021 against Jamel Herring, which was a good win. But look at who Shakur's beaten, boys. I mean, I'm going too far back. Jamel Herring was a good win. Oscar Valdez was a heck of a win. Robson Conceição turned out to be a good win after he beat Oshaki Foster. Yoshino, okay, they gave that a 5-star on here, but I don't believe that. Edwin De Los Santos, Then you got Padley and Hartunian. He's a great boxer, guys. Shakur is. He's a really good boxer. Just, he doesn't bring the eyes, and that's why he was fighting 3rd on this card. And you got guys out there, fighting 4th and 5th on this card that are way more exciting than him. I don't know, Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz fought Ismail Madrimov. Fun fight for us. Madrimov obviously was the guy that took took Terrence Crawford really deep. He's had struggles though with these two guys. Him and Boachuk, 2 straight fights with decisions for Virgil Ortiz. That's a not very common thing for him because he always is putting people down. But he's 2 really good fights in a row. And comes a point to where you're like, man, Terrence Crawford at 36 years old, the wheels are going to fall off sometime. It might be now. Give me Virgil Ortiz versus Crawford, I know Crawford's going to wait and fight Canelo. Why would you risk that? But at the same time, you got to go out there and you got to fight eventually. You got to defend your titles. Carlos Adames versus Hamza Shiraz. That was a weird fight. Adames looked way better than Shiraz did, and they gave Shiraz the draw. That was like an Adames fight. I want to see Adames fight Janabek Halamhalamala. Doubt that'll happen. Callum Smith got back in the win column. He's only lost to Beterbiev and Canelo, so really good to see him. Bouassi, Ajit Caballo defeated Zhali Zhang. Zhang, he's old now. 41 years old. Really fun boxer. Those got heavy hands, but Ajit just kept hitting the body, and once you keep hitting the body against a big guy like that, they crumble, and that's what happened there. Then you got the other 2 fights on the main card. But overall, really fun card, guys. Bivol's the king. Dmitry Bivol's our king. I talked about not defending Shakur Stevenson, but I am going to pitch you my video on Shakur Stevenson, his defensive boxing masterclass against Artur Beterbiev. He's a really good boxer. Fun to watch when you're watching for defense. But if you want action, it's not going to be there. But this is why he's such a good defender. This is why he's so good as a fighter, because this is why I picked him to beat Gervonta, because you can't hit him. Go watch how good this guy is. Pay attention. Shakur, right here. I'm telling you guys. Check it out.